the tutorial on chapter 8, that is budgeting. So in the last class, we managed to discuss the tutorial on pricing, and today we'll be looking at the budgeting, right? Right. So in this, I have selected a couple of questions. So first, we may have a look at question number 1, 2, and yeah. So we may look at kind of an exam type question. So that's going to be question number 3. So that's a question what I have selected. So first, let us read the question and see what it's all about. The Venus Boxes is a multinational company which manufactures 2 types of cardboard boxes used in shipping canned food and fruits and vegetables. So it's basically a business that is into the manufacturing of the cardboard boxes. So currently they are producing 2 types of boxes, the canned food box type C and the perishable food box type P. So let's say it's type C and type P. The following information is given about the material and labor. You can say it takes 2 materials and also the direct labor that it takes. Then how about the manufacturing overhead? Let's see. The following manufacturing overhead costs are anticipated for the coming year. So you are provided with the budgeted uh, manufacturing overhead. So it's indirect material, indirect labor, utilities, land tax and council rates, the insurance, depreciation as such. So the total is also given. It is 222,750. The manufacturing overhead is applied on the basis of direct labor hours. The predetermined overhead rate is based on the production volume of 395,000 for box type C and 595,000 for box type P. ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් භාණ්ඩ දෙකක් හදනවා type C and type P එකේ. ඒතකොට ඒකේ තියෙන volume එක දීලා තියෙනවා. type C එකකින් 395,000 සහ type P එකකින් 595,000 දීලා තියෙනවා, right? Then it says manufacturing overhead is applied on the basis of direct labor hours. ඒතකොට එhmenan මේ units ටික අපි direct labor hours වලට convert කරගන්න ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ අපිට පුළුවන් OAR එක work out කරගන්න. ඒතකොට මෙතන budgeted overhead, budgeted manufacturing overhead තියෙනවා. එතකොට budgeted labor hours ටික work out කරගත්තොත් අපිට පුළුවන් predetermined OAR එක හොයාගන්න. Right. Then the following inventory information is available for the coming year. So you are provided the inventory information as well. The finished goods inventory is there, box type C and box type P, the beginning of the period, end of the period. The quantities are given, and similarly, the direct materials for the 2 ingredients that you may use is provided. 15,000, 5,000, 5,000 and 10,000 kilograms. The sales forecast is as follows. So you are provided with the sales forecast. The number of units that is expected to be sold in the next year is provided. The box type C, 400,000 boxes, rupees 135 pounds per 100 boxes. So that is important. So usually this is sold in, even we have seen that in 100 boxes. No? So when you are given about the cost about the material and also the direct labor, it was provided. So here, most importantly, when it comes to the sales, you are selling them in 100 boxes. For 100 boxes, it is 135. So you need to simply divide this by 100, then identify the boxes in 100 units. It's a kind of package. So then it must be multiplied by $135. Same is applicable for the box type P as well. Then you are provided with the following selling and administration expenses are anticipated. the salaries of the sales personnel, advertising, management salaries, the clerical wages, the miscellaneous administrative expenses, and finally the total expense. All right. Then you've been asked to prepare an annual budget for Venus boxes for the coming year. Assume an income tax rate of 35% and include the following schedules. You've been asked to produce everything, almost everything, from sales budget to the budgeted income statement. The sales budget, the production budget, the direct material, usage and purchase, the direct labor, manufacturing overhead, selling and administration expenses, and budgeted income statement. So therefore, it's a very comprehensive question. So something similar to this can even be tested in your examination as well. So let us give it a try. So let me allow you maybe 10 minutes time. So just to glance through the question and make you are much familiar with that, and then we can start working on it. වෙන මුලින්ම පොඩි වෙලාවක් කරන්න බලන්න දාලා question එක familiar වෙන්න ඊට පස්සේ අපි ඒක work out කරමු. So you have to start with the sales budget. So then that would be your starting point. Then you can, because so when it comes to the budgeting, you would have learned even in the lecture that we are going to start the budgeting process with the limiting factor. So most of the time, the limiting factor is going to be the demand. So if the demand is a limiting factor, so we are going to start the budgeting process from the sales budget. So instead, if it is kind of, let's say that maybe some shortage in resources, what you may use to produce the products. So in that particular case, you may be starting with the production budget. But here, it's the sales. So you're going to start with the sales. Okay, so I feel that even without taking much time, we may have a look at that, no? So let us see. Right. So I think you can see the Excel sheet that I'm sharing. Let us start with the sales budget. So basically, you have two quantities, sorry, two products. So one is called type C product box, it's type C, and the other one is type, is it type P? Yeah. So that's how it works, type C and type P. So the units, let us take the boxes in 100 quantities, right? Sales units. Sales quantities, I would say, right? Since we are usually selling them at, let us just take the quantities, that's fine. Let us adjust them through the price. It's 400,000 from type C and 600,000 from boxes. Then you need to have the sales prices. Sales prices. So it is $135 per 100 boxes. Then per unit, how much? It's 135 divided by 100. So it's basically $1.35. $1.35, and it is 195 per 100 boxes. 195 per 100 boxes for one box. It roughly at 1.95. So then you can get into the sales value. Sales amount. So there it comes, 540,000, and it is 1,175,000. So 1,170,000 for type C, right? So you can even denominate in the underlying currency. Sorry, units. So here we have per one unit the cost and its amount. Right. So this is your starting point. It's about the sales budget. Then what is the question is about? Then it asks about what about the production budget? So then you can work on the production budget. Production budget කොහොමද කියන එක. So you know how to produce the production budget. Your starting point is going to be the sales. So it's type C and type P. Type C and type P. So you can start with the sales quantities. It's 400,000 and 600,000. So when you are going to decide how much to be manufactured, so what you can do. So if you have some opening inventories, that will reduce the amount that you would require to produce. So therefore opening inventory must be deducted. The opening inventory is තියෙනවා නම් අපි ගාව opening inventories තියෙනවා නම් එතකොට ඒකෙන් කියවෙන්නේ ඒ ටික අපි හදන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. Right? So if you have opening inventories, you don't have to manufacture that. And how much the opening inventories as per the question? It's finished goods 10,000 from C and 20,000. So you can deduct this 10,000 and 20,000. And similarly, if you look at the closing inventory, it's box type C, 5,000, and it is 15,000. So to type B. So if you have the closing inventory, that has to be manufactured. Closing inventory තිබුණොත් ඒ ටිකත් අපි අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම manufacture කරන්න වෙනවා. So අපි ඒකත් consider කරමු. So then you can just identify the production requirement. Here it comes, the production requirement. You need to produce 395,000 units from product C and 595,000 units from product B. So here it comes, the production requirement. If you have any question, in the meantime, yeah, you better ask, right? So you better ask and get them clarified then and there. Right. So we are done with the second requirement. It's about the production budget. Then what it asks? It asks then the direct material budget. So, you know, when it comes to this direct material budget, so first you are going to work out the direct material usage budget. So, you know, for this production, how many direct materials is required. So that's what we call the direct material usage. And depending on that, so you would decide how many materials to be purchased. And that is direct material purchase budget, right? Okay, let's start with the direct material usage budget. So here you basically have two types of materials as we saw. What is that? Let's look at. It's material, the paper board, and what is that? Corrugating or something. So I'm not familiar with that term, right? But let's take that. One is about the paper board. The other one, the material, it takes CORRU, medium or something, right? Is it? Yeah. Fine. So now look what we are going to do. We are going to identify, in order to produce this much of production, how many direct material is required? That's a simple question. So it's about the production requirement type C and type P. Then let us take those two materials here. So it's about the type C. How about type C? And how about type? So we need to produce 395,000 units from type C. And how many materials required? For 100 boxes, it takes 20 kilograms. It takes 20 kilograms. So therefore, you can get this 395,000 units, and you can divide it by 100. So this much of units to be produced, the packages to be produced. In that, it takes 20 per kilogram. So you need to multiply them by 20. So it takes 79,000 kilograms. Similarly, if you take the other one, type P, it takes 30 kilograms. It's 595 divided by 100 multiplied by 30. it takes 178 500,000 of material. Then the other material, if you look at that, it's the medium, it's 30 kilograms and 70 kilograms. The same thing, it's produced in 100 units, multiplied them by 30, 118,500, and that is 595,000 divided by 100 multiplied by 70. This is it. And then you can come up with the material requirement for the production. So you need 257,500 materials, kilograms, and here you need from the medium 535 kilograms, and this is what we call the material requirement. Material requirement identify material requirement. So if you have any questions on this, yes, so you can question on it. If anything that you're not quite familiar, yes. එක පැහැදිලි නැති දෙයක් තියෙනවා කියන උතල කොහොමද ගත්තේ කියන එක මෙතන the point that you must be pretty much convinced, it's about the manufacturing. You can see that here we are producing them in 100 units නේ. මෙතන දීලා තියෙන්නේ boxes 100ක් හදන material requirement එක. ඒතර boxes අපි ඔක්කොම දැක්කා 3,95,000ක් ඕනේ type C එකකින්. එහෙනම් ඒක අපි 100ෙන් බෙදා ගන්න ඕනේ 100 boxes වලට ඒක convert කරගන්න package එකක් විදිහට ගන්න. ඒතර ඒක මුලින්ම අපි කරා ඊට පස්සේ material requirement එකෙන් multiply කරා. ඒතර සෑම තැනකම අපි මේ විදිහට තමයි සිද්ධ කරන්නේ. Right? So it's a little tricky point. So if you get that, that's it. Right. එතකොට අපි දැන් direct material කොච්චරක් අපිට අවශ්‍යද කියන එක බලාගත්තා. එතකොට ඒ අනුව අපි ගාව සමහර වෙලාවට තියෙන්න පුළුවන් opening inventory තියෙන්න පුළුවන් material ඉතුරු වෙලා සහ material closing inventory එකක් අපි maintain කරනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ දේවල් එක්ක අපි කොච්චරක් මිලට ගන්න ඕනද කියන එක දැන් තීරණය කරමු. So we call it, it's the direct material. So direct material purchase budget. Purchase budget. So you have basically two types of materials, the paper based, so paper boards. I can simply copy that, and the medium. So you get them two. Then you get the material requirement. You start with the material requirement. The requirement is 257,500 and 535,000. The requirement. Then what you have to do, if you have some closing inventory, you need to add them. Closing inventory must be added. Closing materials must be added, while the opening material should be deducted. This should be deducted. So when you come to the closing materials, so the question might provide you with this information. The direct material, it says that the opening 15,000 and 5,000. Paper boards 15,000 kilograms are there, and also 5,000 kilograms are there. But the closing inventory, you need to maintain 5,000 kilograms and 10,000 kilograms respectively. So then you can see how much materials to be purchased. It's 247,500, and it's 540,000 materials to be purchased. So the purchase කරන්න ඕනේ materials ටිකත් ඔන්න පුතාලා හොයාගත්තා. තොර මේක අපිට එක්ස්ප්‍රස් කරන්න පුළුවන් අවශ්‍ය නම් in terms of rupees as well. So this is material purchase requirement. මේක අපිට අවශ්‍ය නම් rupees වලින් එක්ස්ප්‍රස් කරගන්න පුළුවන් නේ 247,500 මේවා purchase කරන්න යන කොහොමද the cost. So it is dollars 0.3 dollars 30 cents and dollars 15 cents. 30 cents and dollars 15 cents. Dollars 30 cents and dollars 15 cents. So consequently, you can simply get what the underlying cost as well. Cost right? Material purchase cost. Material cost per unit. So this is your direct material purchase requirement. So when you work out, so what is the amount of this material as well, right? So far we are done with the sales, production, direct material usage, and direct material purchase, right? Then what is next? So probably the labor, no? So then you have the direct labor budget. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. The direct labor budget. So here the good thing is that you don't have any opening or closing inventories, no? Because you cannot store the labor basically. So you can simply get your production requirement and work out what is the cost. So direct labor, you can take it product wise. You have two types of product, type C and type P. Type C and type P. The products වර්ග දෙකක් තියෙනවා පුතාලගේ type C සහ type P කියන එක. So then what is the production requirement? Production requirement. It's 395,000 units is required and 595,000 units required. And you need to convert that into the labor requirement. And it says that for 100 boxes, it takes 0.25 hours, right? For 100 boxes, it takes 0.25 hours. And for the other, it's 0.5. And you can take labor cost per 100 boxes. For 100 boxes cost is what it is given, so you need to be conscious. So it is 0.25 and it's 0.5. So then you can work out what is the labor requirement. Sorry, yeah, it's not the cost. Sorry, it's just 0.25 dollars. You need to remove it. Yeah. Then you can get the labor requirement. Labor requirement. So if you work out, so it's 395,000. You need to divide it by 100 because you're taking it as 100 boxes. So that is your cost object usually, and 0.25. Here it comes to labor requirement. It's 595,000 multiplied by 0.5. Sorry, first you need to divide it by 100, then only multiplied by 0.5. It's 2,975. So this is the labor requirement. So if you want to express them in terms of rupees, you can get the labor cost. It's $18 per hour. So once you have figured out the number of hours that requires, so you have just figured that out, then you can multiply it by, so wait a moment. Okay, fine. So it's $18. So here it comes the cost $18. So we have to wait, it's not responding. It's 18, it's 18 per. Right, now you get the labor cost. The labor cost. There it comes, the labor cost. Production. So you can simply multiply it by the hourly cost, 177,775, 53,550. Cost per hour. Right, this is it. So here you come with the labor budget, direct labor budget. So you have figured out what is the cost of that. Okay. Then what is the next requirement? You can now moving on to the manufacturing overhead. It's manufacturing overhead budget. So when you come to manufacturing overhead budget, basically you need to figure out two things. One is about the predetermined overhead absorption rate. The other one is the allocation base. So you can see the allocation base is already there. It is the labor. It's labor. Hours, it takes 987.5. So you can simply draw from the labor budget. It's 987.5, and here it's 2,975. That's a labor requirement. Now we need to work out what is the manufacturing overhead budget. So let's take the budgeted overhead absorption rate. You need to get that. And how do you get? It's budgeted overhead, budgeted overhead, manufacturing overhead actually, budgeted manufacturing overhead divided by budgeted labor hours. Budgeted labor hours. So the budgeted manufacturing overhead, the question itself provide you with that. It's 222,750. It's 222,750. Then what is the budgeted labor hours? The question says that you need to take it based on the number of production. You need to produce 395 from box type C and 595 from box type P. So in fact, if you go to the question, so we have done the labor requirement based on that much of production. Therapy labor requirement එක work out කරපු දාලා මේ කියන production requirement එක base කරලා. ඉතින් අපිට කෙලින්ම මෙතනින් draw කරන්න පුළුවන් labor කොච්චරක්ද කියලා. 987.50යි 2975. නම් එතන තියෙනවා 3962.5. එතකොට එහෙනම් අපි මේක divide කරොත් 222,750 by 3962.5. There it gives you the overhead absorption rate. So it's roughly 5.74. 5.74. You can simply refer here. You can simply refer here. Take the formatting to 2 decimal places, then that's fine. So this is what the overhead absorption with OER. And then you have the labor requirement. So once you multiply, and that is the manufacturing overhead. So this is how this manufacturing overhead is getting divided among the two products. Manufacturing. So that's how it gets divided. Fine. So we managed to get the manufacturing overhead. So if you have any questions, Puta, yes, now it's time. Just raise the question. පුතාට පැහැදිලි නැති දෙයක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒක අහන්න. ඒක අපි පැහැදිලි කරගමු. So manufacturing overhead අපි ගන්න absorption basis එකකින්. එතකොට මෙතන OER එක work out කරගත්තා. ඊපස්සේ allocation base එක ගත්තා. එතකොට මේකේ direct labor තමයි base කරලා absorb කරන්නේ. එහෙනම් මෙතනත් අපිට ගන්න වෙන්නේ budgeted labor hours තමයි. The actual labor hours නැහැ මේක budget එක අපි. Yes, if you have any questions. So don't have any kind of interaction. So would like to hear something from you. Is that clear? Can we move on? Okay, good. Okay, good. Fine, thanks. So let us move on. Let us move on. So what's next? Now we have taken the manufacturing overhead budget. I think it's non-manufacturing overhead, right? Yeah, it's selling and administrative expenses budget. Selling and administrative expenses. Administrative expenses budget. Right? Okay. So there, in fact, you have to do nothing. You can just copy the information that is out there and you can just paste it. So ඒක විතර කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. මෙතන දීලා තියෙනවා selling and administrative expenses anticipate කරලා තියෙන විදිය. දැන් මේකේ absorption එකක් නැහැ. අපි simply figures ටික අරගෙන දාන්නයි තියෙන්නේ. එහෙනම් අපි ඒක copy කරලා paste කරගත්තා නම් හරි. That's all what you got to do. So you take the salaries of the salesperson first, then you take the advertising, the management salaries, the clerical wages, and finally the miscellaneous administrative expenses. So you get them. Right. Now you can take the total, and that is your selling and administrative expenses budget. When it comes to non-manufacturing overheads, we simply take the amounts and put them to the P&L. So here it's a budget. So here we have the budgeted expenses. Budgeted expenses sheet එකකට දාගන්න එක තමයි ඔයා කරන්න ඕනේ. So this is it. So nothing much to do. So with that, we are done with all the budgets. So now we can look at the final requirement. It's about producing the income statement. So budgeted income statement. Okay, let us do that. The budgeted income statement. So let me take it somewhere over here. It's budgeted income statement. We start with the sales, and you're making sales of two types. It's type C and it's type E. So how about the type C? So you may be selling particular number of units. So the sales requirement, we saw that earlier even. You could get, now you can straight away take the sales amount. It's 540,000 from product C, type C. 540,000. You work that out. And type P, from the sales budget, 1,170,000. So 1,170,000. Okay. So that's about your sales. Right. Now you need to know what is the cost of sales. The next most important ingredient, it's about the cost of sales. Cost of sales. So in fact, you can do it as a working, but let me simply work it on the face of the statement. You can start from the material. So you have two types of materials, in fact. That is what we call material, paper boards and the medium, right? Yeah, paper boards. What's that called, right? So these are the two materials that you have. Now you need to know what is the consumption. What is the consumption? So it's a per unit requirement. You can simply look at. You can see that per kilogram it takes $0.3. So 30 cents, $30. Sorry, 30 cents. $30, and direct material, it's 100 units, 20 kilograms is given. So then you can simply look at the labor direct material usage. So in fact, we have worked that out earlier. For paper boards, so you have for the two kinds of products, it's 257,500. So that 257,500 can be multiplied per 1 kilogram. Per kilogram, it's 30 cents. And when it comes to this medium, for this production, it takes how much from the material usage budget? There it comes 535,000. 1,35,000 kilograms ඕන කියන එක පෙන්නවා. ඒකට 1 kilogram එකට අපි බැලුවොත් cost එක වෙලා තියෙනවා $0.15. But අපිට පුළුවන් මේක multiply කරලා මේ direct material usage එක හොයාගන්න. So you can take that 257,500 into 30% and 535,000 into 1.5. So මෙතන පුතාලා හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න මේ material used මේ production එකට අවශ්‍ය වෙන material එක. අපි හැදෙන්න ඕන type C එකකින් සහ type P එකකින් 395 සහ 595 අපි ඒක convert කරගත්ත direct material usage budget එකේදී to material requirement. ඒතකොට මේ material requirement එක භාවිතා කරලා තමයි අපි මෙතන මේ cost එක ගත්තේ. So it's basically the material consumed or material used. Right. Take the total. It's about the material cost. Then you know it's the direct labor. It takes direct labor. Direct labor අපිට අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. ඒත් අපි ඒකත් ඇත්තටම direct labor budget එකට refer කරා නම් කෙලින්ම direct labor එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. Direct labor cost for the production. So there you have two types, the type C and type P. මේක කොච්චරක් අපිට cost එක ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවද බැලුවොත් labor cost for the production it's 17,775. $17,775. Am I correct? Yeah. Then it is 53,550. 53,550. Then P requirement got work out karo. Right. It's fine. So you can get the sorry. That's the direct labor. So the one thing that is left, it's about the manufacturing overhead. So when you come to the manufacturing overhead, so you basically absorb that the manufacturing overhead you basically absorb. And here again you have basically the two products. So it's type C and type D, so type P. So relating to type C, you absorbed 5,669, 5,669.96 or something. Sorry, here you need to look at the sales. So it's here it simply shows the production, I think. So production here you need to refer to earlier also we made a mistake, is that so we need to do this for the so isn't it, we have made a mistake නේ අපි production එක base කරලා ගත්තේ නේ පුතාලා. මෙතන අපි ගන්න ඕනේ ඇත්තටම අපේ sales units base කරලා. අපේ sales units තිබුණේ කීයක්ද ඇත්තටම? It's a mistake, sorry, it just came to my realization now. 400,000 සහ 600,000. then මේ සියලුම cost අපි ගන්න ඕනේ base කරලා ඒ කියන amounts base කරලා නේ sales requirement එක production එකත් එක්ක අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන්කමක් නැහැ. production එකත් එක්ක අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන්කමක් නැහැ. So it's a mistake that we have made over there. හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ අපි ඒක දැන් work out කරගමු. So material usage එක එනකොට අපි දැක්කා per unit එහෙම නැත්නම් 100 boxes වලට අපි දැක්කා 20 kilograms තමයි අවශ්‍ය වුනේ. right? එතකොට අපි ගත්තත් අපේ products දෙක. එතකොට එකක් තියෙනවා type C එක. එතකොට ඒකේ sorry for that, extremely sorry for that. So it just went unnoticed. Right. So when you come to the paper boards, you have two products. It's type C and type B. These are the two types what we have. So type C එකෙන් අපි 400,000 ඕනේ. කොට ඒක 100 ගානේ අපි විකුණන්නේ. එතකොට අපි packages යන්න ඕනේ 4,000. එතකොට 100ක් හදන්න යන cost එක දීලා තියෙනවා 20 kilograms. 20 kilograms. Kilogram එක cost එක 0.3. So it cost us 24,000. And for P, we do the same. 600,000 units here. We produce in 100 blocks. So it's this much. And then to produce that, it cost us 30 kilograms. 30 kilograms. And per 1 kilogram, it's 0.3. Right, this much of a cost is involved over there. And then let's look at the other material. It's the medium. Again, when it comes to that, it's for the 30. It takes 30 for product C. So you need to have 400,000 produced in 100 bulk, 4,000, and get them multiplied by the material requirement 30,400, and it costs you 0.15. Similarly, for product P, you need to produce for 600,000 units, but you're producing in 100 quantities, and for 100 units, it takes 70 kilograms, and 1 kilogram would cost you 0.15. So you take that, and that's it. Okay. Now you can get the material cost. Here it comes the material cost. The same can be done for the labor again. So we made a mistake over there. So when it comes to the labor from type C, in order to produce, you need to produce 400,000 units, but you usually produce them in 100 quantities, and to produce 100, it takes 0.25 hours. It takes 0.25 hours, and hourly cost it's $18. It's $18. And for type P, you need to produce 600,000 units. It's 100. You need to sell 600,000 units. It's 100 quantities you produce them, and per unit it takes 0.5, and the cost is $18. And here it comes that particular cost. So this is your direct labor. Then you have the manufacturing overhead. So when it comes to manufacturing overhead, you need to take the OAR and absorb that depending on the number of units. So the OAR is 5.74. roughly 5.74 per unit OAR. Then you need to look at the labor requirement for 400,000 units of type C. So you can get the number of units, 400,000, and convert that into labor requirement. It gives us for 100 units, it takes 0.25 divided by 100 and then into 0.25. So this much of hours is needed. එතකොට අපි මේවා 100 ගානේ හදන්නේ. එතකොට 100ක් හදන්න අපිට යනවලු කාලේ hours 0.25. නැකේ multiply කරපුවම මේ requirement එක එනවා. Similarly, for type P, you need to the OAR is 5.74. So make up multiply කරන්න ඕනේ hours වලින් 600,000 units හදන්න යන. So you take these 600,000 units and divide it by 100, since we produce them in 100 quantities. And for 100 units, it takes 0.5. And here it comes the cost. Cost okay, now it's fine. Everything's cost. Now you have worked out the cost of sales. Cost of sales, we have just the amount where the total it's not coming over there. Something wrong with the format, that's why. Yeah, fine. Now let me correct it. Still it comes that much. Why is that? All right, no, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. I used to see it as 1,710,000. No, yeah, it's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Sorry. Okay, so let us take the cost of sales. So how about the cost of sales? So you can simply take the material and the labor and the manufacturing overhead. So there it comes, the manufacturing overhead, and now you can get the gross profit. So here we have the gross profit. And then you can get the administrative and the selling expenses, selling and administrative expenses. You can simply draw the things from there. You can just copy them and paste it. You can just take the total cost. Right. Then you can deduct it, and that's going to be the profit before tax. So once you deduct the manufacturing non-manufacturing overhead cost, there it comes the profit before tax. Profit before tax. And the question says that the income tax එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා question එකේ කියනවා 35%. So apply 35% to this. So then you can get the profit for the period for the period. Profit example. So how much is that? The profit for the period. This is it. Right. That's it. So you have worked out what is the profit for the period. So if anything is not clear, yes, you can now let me know. So reflect on this, whether you are getting that or not. So I think getting the sales, it's not a big deal. It's 400,000 and 600,000 units, getting them multiplied by the sales price. So you manage to get the sales. So what even I found tricky, that was about working out the cost of sales. So when you're taking the cost of sales, you need to look at the production and look at the sales, and depending on that sales, you need to look at how much that it costs to you. So in order to produce 600,000, 400,000 units, so it costs you basically this much. And for product type P, this is it. Similarly, you did that for the materials. And even when you come to the labor, so you need to be conscious that is about the labor requirement for the sales that you would do. So depending on the sales that you are going to identify that. And also the manufacturing overheads, the same. So when you're going to absorb that, it must be based on the number of units that you require to sell. It's not the production, but the number to sell. So then you are meaningfully comparing the cost of sales with the sales, and then only the gross profit can be taken. So once you take the gross profit, then the task is easy. All what you have to do is just deduct the selling and administration expenses. The profit before tax comes, they apply the income tax, thereby the profit for the period. See whether you are clear with that. It's a comprehensive question, but if you work out clearly, that's it. නැත්නම් මේක අපිට තව කරන්න තිබ්බ alternative විදියක් තමයි මේ විදියට cost of sales work out කරන එක දාලා අමාරු නම් අපිට manufacturing account එකක් වෙනම හදන්න තිබ්බා. ඒතර manufacturing account එකක් හදලා ඒ production එක අරගෙන so opening inventory closing inventory අරගෙන work out කරන්න තිබ්බා. But either way you must be ended up with the same. Right? That's an alternative approach. So you can try them leisurely. එකතු වලට try කරලා බලන්න පුළුවන්. Right. Yeah, anything that you would like to question here before we move on to the next one? It's okay, right? Okay, good. Fine. Now let us move on to the next one. So since we work out basically the income statement and also the other functional budgets, now let us focus on a question that require you to produce a kind of a cash budget, right? So it's again another important aspect that you would have covered. So let us read the next question. That is question number. It's in fact an exam question which was tested in September 2011. Let's see. The following information is relevant to Samarnayaka Company Limited, which prepares budget for every quarter. So they'll be preparing the quarterly budget. The company manufactures and sells a single product called Beta. The balance as at 30th September 2011, the finished goods stock, you have 100 units, the debtors, creditors, cash, everything is given. Production budget for the next 3 months is provided. The selling price of unit is 200, which is expected to be kept unchanged till the November. Then the company expect to increase that. Then you have the monthly sales equal to 80% of the monthly production plus any inventory balances available at the beginning of the month. So likewise, you are given information. No need to read each and every. But the requirement is to produce the cash budget. Okay. So let us first get a structure, and then let's try to put them in the structure. So it's about the cash budget. The cash budget. The quarter ended 31st December 2011 or something, right? So we need to take it as 2021 or something, right? Otherwise, it can't be a budget, no? So if you are preparing for a previous period, hence, please disregard the time period mentioned. So when you're preparing budget, you need to take the time period. It's for the October, November, and December. You're taking it for October, November, and finally, it's for the month of December. Right. So you take the 3 months period. So when it comes to a cash budget, basically you start with the cash receipts. Have some space and then take the cash payments. That's it. Cash receipts and payments. Then you can take the total cash receipts, total cash payment. As a matter of that, you can see the net cash flow. Net cash flow during the period. During the period. Then you can take the cash and cash equivalent balance at the end of the period. Right. So at the end of the period, let's say, at the end of the period. And here you have cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of the period. So this is the usual structure. මේ වගේ structure එකක් තමයි අපි දාගන්න ඕනේ. Cash receipts තියෙනවා, cash payments තියෙනවා, ඊට පස්සේ cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of the period. ඒකට net cash flow එක එකතු කරලා cash and cash equivalent at the end of the period figure out කරගන්න පුළුවන්. So payments වලට තව විදිහක් අවශ්‍ය වෙයි. Just see that. Right. So then we may go through one by one item and just put them in the correct place. That's it. Right. So once you get the structure, you can move on to the question. So in this question, you are given the balance. Balance as at 30th September is given. So out of that, what is important for us may be the cash balance. So that is the cash balance at the beginning of October 1st. At the beginning of October. So therefore, that would be a good starting point. Cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of the period. Right. You get that. Then you are given the production budget for the next 3 months. The production budget is given 2,500, 3,000 and 3,500. The current selling price is given and also it expected to be kept unchanged till November, and then company expect to increase it by 10%. Okay. The company expect to have monthly sales equal to 80% of the monthly production plus any inventory balance available at the beginning of the month. එතකොට අපේ කොහොමද sales යන්නේ? sales සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ අපේ production එකෙන් 80%කුයි opening inventory එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒ opening inventory එකයි. එතකොට ඒක තමයි අපේ sales වෙන්නේ. එතකොට අපි යනවා sales ටික බැලුවොත් අපි පොඩි working එකක් අරගෙන බැලුවොත් so how much is your sales? months October, November, December. එතකොට sales වෙනවලු ඔයාගේ production requirement එකෙන් 80%. ඉතින් 80%ක් ඔයා sell කරනවලු. හදන products වලින් 80%ක් sell කරනවලු. එන 2500න් ඔයා 80%ක් sell කරනවා. ඊපස්සේ 3000න් නොවැම්බර් මාසයේ ඔයා 80%ක් sell කරනවා. ඒ වගේම December වල 3500 you are selling 80%. Plus any inventory balances available at the beginning of the month. මාසෙ මුල තියෙන මාසෙ මුල opening inventory එකක් තිබ්බොත් ඒ ටිකත් sell කරනවා. එතකොට අපි බැලුවොත් ඔක්තෝබර් මාසෙ ඉන්නකොට what is the opening inventory that you have? You can see that opening stocks 100 units. Unit 100ක් තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් ඒ 100ත් අපි sell කරන්න ඕනේ. Opening inventory. එනවා අපේ ඔක්තෝබර් month එකේ sale එකක් තියෙනවා ඔක්කොම කීයක්ද 2100 units. 2100 units. එතකොට පෙබරවාරි මාසෙත් බැලුවොත් නොවැම්බර් month එකේ අපි බැලුවොත් එතකොට අපි මෙතන දැක්ක production requirement එක තිබ්බා. එතකොට අපි බලන්න ඕනේ inventory කීයක් opening inventory විදිහට තියෙනවද කියලා. කොහොමද අපි ඒක decide කරන්නේ? එතකොට අපි ගත්තොත් අපි ඔක්තෝබර් month එකේ sell කරනවා කියලා කිව්වා 2100. එතකොට අපේ production sales requirement එක 2100. එතකොට අපේ production එක තිබිලා තියෙනවා කීයක්ද 2500 production requirement. එතකොට පුතාට මතකයි කලින් අපි derive කරා sales base කරලා production requirement එක ගත්ත විදිය. කලින් question එක refer කරොත් sales base කරලා කොහොමද production එක ගත්තේ? closing inventory සහ opening inventories adjust කරලා. right? එතකොට sales requirement එකට closing inventory එකතු කරලා right? sales requirement එකට අපි closing inventory එකතු කරලා opening inventory අඩු කරොත් තමයි අපිට මේක එන්නේ. ඒතර අපි බැලුවොත් sales requirement 2100 නම් opening inventory අපි දැක්ක 100ක් තිබ්බා. එහෙනම් ඔයාලට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් දැන් closing inventory කීයක් වෙන්න ඕනද කියලා. එහෙනම් මේකේ difference එක 500 එක. ඒතර ඒක ඔයා හඳුනා ගන්න ඕනේ. ඒතර මේ 500 next month එකේ opening inventory වෙනවා. ඒතර ඔයාගේ sales requirement එක ඔයා කිව්වා ඒක තමයි ඔයාලට හොයාගන්න අවශ්‍ය. production එක ඔයා දන්නවා. production එක next month එකේ 3000 වෙන්න ඕනේ. සහ ඔයාගේ sales යන්නේ කොහොමද? production එකේ 80% plus opening inventory. opening inventory 500 තියෙනවා. ඒ අනුව November month එකේ ඔයාගේ sales requirement එක 2900. So our sales requirement එක 2900 නම් 500 opening inventory තිබුණා නම් closing inventory 600 වෙන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට ඒ closing inventory next period එකේ opening inventory වෙනවා. එතකොට ඔයා sell කරනවා opening inventory plus the 80%. එතකොට ඔයාගේ sales requirement එක 3400ක් වෙනවා. 3400යි. එතකොට ඔයාගේ production එක ඔයා දන්නවා කීයක් ඔයා හදන්නේ කියලා 3500ක් ඔයා හදනවා. එහෙමනම් එතන 3400න් 600ක් ගියපුවහම 2800යි. එතකොට ඒකට 700ක් එකතු වෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ විදිහට අපි ඔන්න හොයාගත්තා අපේ closing inventory. So is that clear? Because that was needed The identification of the closing inventory was needed because that must be a kind of aspect that you should consider when it comes to determining the sales requirement. එමනම් units 2100ක් 2900ක් සහ 3400ක් අපි විකුණන්න ඕන කියලා හොයාගත්තා. Right. Is that clear? Yeah, anything that you're not convinced? ඒක පැහැදිලි නැද්ද තිබුණා කියලා. So just apply your knowledge on the sales budget and the production budget. So ඒක තමයි එතන අපිට support කරේ figure out කරන්න මේ figures දෙක. Hope you are getting that. Yeah, I'm waiting for the response. Anything that you're not clear with? So just let me know. Right, okay, good. Thank you for the feedback. Let us move on. Right, okay, good. So now let's move on to the next information. Then when it comes to the sales, it says that the 60% of the sales are made on cash basis. And the collection from debtors can be made in the subsequent month. Right. එහෙනම් විකුණන ඒ වගේ 160ක් cash වලට විකුණනවා. ඉතුරු ටික අපි credit වලට විකුණන්නේ. හැබැයි credit වලට විකුණන ඒවා ඊළඟ මාසේ ආය කර ගන්න ඕනේ. Okay, good. So then you can get the sales value. So here you have 2100 units. So the minimum sales revenue එක අපි ගමු. So you have the sales units. Now you have just figure that out. Sales unit. And if you know the sales price එක දන්නවා නම් අපිට දැන් sales revenue එක work out කරගන්න පුළුවන්. Sales revenue. So sales unit 2100, 2900 and 3400. Also the sales price was given. It was said that it was 200. It's 200. So it's 200, 200, but in the month of December it's going to change. The company expects to increase the selling price by 10% from December onwards. Okay. So there is an increase 220. So consequently, once you work out the sales revenue, it comes as this: 420, 580, and 748. So out of that, 60% of them is cash sales. You can see it a Hatak cash sales. 60% from that. Then we can see it Hatak අපිට බොහොම පහසුවෙන් ගන්න පුළුවන් cash sales. 252,000, 348, 448, 800. Now to come මුලින්ම cash sales තිබුණා 252,000. Then you have 348,000, 448, 800. Right. The cash sales. Then how about credit sales? Credit sales. It's 40%. එතකොට credit sales වලට අපි දන්නවා cash collect වෙන්නේ next period එකේ නේද? Cash proceeds. ඒතර ඒක අපි දන්නවා next month එකේ තමයි සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ කියලා. ඒතකොට September ඔක්තෝබර් මාසෙ විකුණපු එකකින් 140ක් ඔයා කලෙක්ට් කරගන්නේ in November. ඒ වගේම ඔයා November වල විකුණපු එකකින් 140ක් ඔයා කලෙක්ට් කරගන්නේ December වල. ඒතකොට අනිත් එක අපිට ඇත්තටම අවශ්‍යත් නැහැ. ඒතර මේකේ ඉතුරු 140 අපි කලෙක්ට් කරගන්නවා ඇත්තේ January වල. So it's not relevant for us because we are bothering about the 3 months period. ඒ වගේම තමයි තව වැදගත් වෙන තොරතුරක් තියෙනවා. So please give me 1 second. Right, okay, I had just come back. Right, it's about the credit sale, cash proceed from credit sales. එතන මේකේ පොඩි tricky point එකක් තියෙනවා what you need to understand. So you can see that there are some outstanding balances in the debtors, right? So that is from the sales of September. So from the sales of September, you have not collected 200,000. And that is what you are going to collect in the month of October. එතකොට සැප්තැම්බර් අග තියෙන debtors අපි දන්නවා ඊළඟ මාසේ collect වෙන්න ඕන. මොකද credit period එක 1 month. දැන් මෙතෙන්ට තියෙන්න ඕනේ 200,000. So that is the next important thing. Cash collection from debtors. Debtors සංගය cash collect කරලා තියෙනවා. 200,000, 168,000 and 232,000. Right. So it's about the debtors. We are not going to bother about the January collection. The January collection copy. Okay, it's about the sales. We have managed to work that out. Then it says the company uses two types of materials called sigma and gamma. 1 kilograms of sigma and 2 kilograms of gamma are used in the production. Sigma සහ gamma කියලා materials දෙකක් use කරනවා. It takes 1 kilogram from sigma and 2 kilograms from gamma for the production. Materials are purchased monthly based on the production requirement of each month. Material අපි purchase කරන්නේ production requirement එක base කරගෙන. The material purchased are fully utilized for the production during the same month. The cost of 1 kilogram of material is agreed with the supplier as follows. ඒ කියන්නේ වාගේ opening materials සහ closing materials කියලා දෙයක් නැහැ. වාගේ production requirement එකට හරියන විදිහට තමයි ඔයා purchase කරන්නේ. එහෙනම් ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලා material usage budget එකක් produce කරගන්න තරම් මේ වැඩේ පහසුයි. ඒකත් ඔයාගේ working එකක් විදිහට ඔයාලට යන්න පුළුවන්. Material usage and purchase. So you are having basically two products. So that is it two products or one product? No? The company uses two types of material for two types of materials. Materials basically දෙකක් තියෙන්නේ. එකක් sigma අනිත් එක gamma. So for this production, it takes 1 kilograms of sigma. Sigma only 1 kilogram එකක්, making 2 kilogram එකක්. Materials per unit. Per unit එකට අවශ්‍ය වෙන materials. Then you can take the production requirement. So in fact, we have identified the production requirement earlier, 2,500. 2,500. 2,500. So this is for the month of October. October වල තත්ත්වය. ඒතර වල මේක මාස 3ක් වගේ produce කරගන්න. So this is the situation for the month of October. Right. So here it comes to material requirement. You can multiply it 2,500 and 5,000. And the question says that this is a material usage. And also the question says that you're going to purchase the same because you are not going to maintain opening or closing inventory. So therefore you can simply take the material purchase as same. So the sigma will cost you 10 and gamma would cost you 25. Sigma 10 rupees, gamma 25. So then this is the material cost. So on the material cost capital 25,000 for sigma and 125,000 for gamma. Similarly, you can do this for the rest of the month. It's for the November. For the November, you can take the sigma and gamma. So the production requirement from it's 3000 units. It takes 1 and 2, but the cost is going to be different. It's 10 and 30. The 10 and 30. 10 and 30. 3000 and 6000. Yeah. So once you take the cost, and this is it, it cost you this much, 30,000 and this much, 108,000 or something. Yeah. And similarly, you can do the same for the month of December. You can start with the production requirement. Production requirement is 3,500 and 3,500. It takes 1 and 2. So the price, yeah, 12 and 32. So it's ever increasing, no? 12 and 32. So here it comes the material cost. 42,000, and there comes the cost. Sorry. Okay, so we have find out how much cost that you have to incur for this material. Now let's see how it's going to be settled. The 50% of the purchase of material is made on the cash basis, and the creditors are settled as follows. 50% of the materials you are going to pay in the same month, but the remainder you are going to pay in the next couple of months. The 60% out of the credit purchases in the next, and 40% out of the remaining 40% in the next month. Okay, so that information is also important. You can take the cash purchases. Cash purchases අපි කොහොමද වෙන්නේ කියලා. So when you come to the sigma, so you are paying 50%, and gamma the same, 50%. So similarly for the next month, 50% you are paying that, 180,000. 50% you are paying here also, 42,000. 50% you are paying on the same month, and 224,000. 50%, yes. So you can take that. It's about the purchase of sigma. Purchase of sigma material. Purchase of gamma. So that can be identified. You have just work out. It's 12,500. 62,500. ඔක්තෝබර් මාසේ ගත්ත ප්‍රමාණය. ඊට පස්සේ 15,000 90,000 ඊළඟ මාසේ 15,000 ගියා 90,000 ගියා. තමයි cash purchases. පස්සේ 21,000. ඒ වගේම 112,000. Right. then මේ ටික තමයි cash purchases. Cash purchases of sigma and cash purchases of gamma. Right. What about the credit purchase? The settlement of creditors. Creditors of කොහොමද settle කරන්නේ? Relating to sigma. Sigma related කරලා creditors relating to. අතරම අපිට මේ දෙකත් working එකක් විදිහට කරලා එකටම ගන්නත් තිබුණා. මම මෙතන වෙන වෙනම දැම්මත් ඒ විදිහ කරන්නත් තිබුණා. නමුත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඒ approach එක ගන්න වෙයිද creditors ලාගේ මට හිතෙනවා Day approach again. Right, okay, fine. Then let's come to the October month. Cash purchases 12,500 and 62,500 තිබුණා. But when it comes to that credit purchases කොහොමද අපි ඒක settle කරන්නේ? ඉතුරු මෙතන තියෙනවා sigma වලින් 12500ක්. එතකොට අපි ඒක settle කරන්නේ ඊළඟ මාසේ. සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම මේ එකෙන් 160ක්. remaining balance එක අපි දන්නවා 12,500 because this is 50%. You take that 12,500, it stands 100, then what is 60? 7,500ක් settle කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඩිසෙම්බර් වල 12,500යි ඒ කියන්නේ 100ක් ඉතුරු 40. මේ විදිහට තමයි සිග්මා settle කරන්නේ. එතකොට ගැමා එකත් අපි ඊළඟ මාසේ 62,500 100ක් නම් ඒකෙන් 60ක් settle කරනවා. ඉතුරු ටික 6500 කියන්නේ 100ක් නම් ඉතුරු 40 ඊට පස්සේ මාසෙ. ඊට පස්සේ අපි එනවා නොවැම්බර් වල තියෙනවා 15000ක් 15000න් අපි settle කරන්න යනවා. 15000ක් කියන්නේ ඉතුරු තව 15000යි ඒකයි මෙතන මම ගත්තේ. ඒකෙන් 160ක්. ඒකට 90000යි 90000ක් කියන්නේ 100 නම් ඒකෙන් 60ක් කියන්නේ කීයද? right. මේ විදිහට තමයි settlement එක සිද්ධ වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒත් එකම අපි අවධානය යොමු කරන්න වෙයි opening creditors ලට. එතකොට opening creditors ලා අපිට තියෙනවා 175,500. ඒක ගැන additional information මොකුත් දීලා නැද්ද බලමු. Right, here it says, however, company expect to settle the creditors as at 30th September during the next 2 months equally. මෙතන තියෙන 1,75,000 settle කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ භාගෙ. නයික ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. now අපි credit purchases ටික ගමු. So you can see that for the October we don't have any, but we have here credit purchases 7,500, 37,500. So in fact, if you take total, that would be easy. මේ ටික තමයි ඔයාලට settle කරන්න තියෙන ඉදිරි මාසවල. 7,500ක් ගෙවන්න ඕනේ sigma සඳහා. sigma 7,500 ගෙවන්න ඕනේ. gamma 37,500 ගෙවන්න ඕනේ. ඒ amounts දෙක 7,500 and 37,500. ඊට පස්සේ මෙතන 14,000 තියෙනවා 79,000 තියෙනවා next month එකේ 14,000 79,000 40,000 and 79,000. ඒ වගේම අපි opening creditors ලා ටික ගත්තොත් settlement of opening creditors at 30th September 2021, it says that you are going to settle them equally. It's 175,500. 75,500 divided by 2. It goes as 87,500 each. So don't අපේ material settlement විදිය. ඇත්තටම ඔයාලට මේක එකතු කරලා සමස්ත creditors ලා settle වෙන විදිය සහ purchase on cash settle වෙන විදියට වෙනමත් ගන්න තිබ්බා. නමුත් මම මේක elaborative විදියට ගත්තා, right? So alternatives you could have tried. Then we are done with the significant component. Then we are moving on to the labor. The direct labor cost relevant to the production of 1 unit of beta is 50, and it is expected to remain constant over the next 6 months. Salaries are paid at the end of each month. So direct labor නම් බොහොම පහසුයි. unit එකකට යන cost එක දීලා තියෙනවා. මේ මාසෙ මේක are paid at the end of the month. එහෙනම් ඒක බොහොම පහසුයි නේ. So it's about the direct labor. You can simply take what you call here the production. අපි හදන ප්‍රමාණය කොච්චරක්ද කියලා බලලා ඒ ටික තමයි අපි ගෙවන්න ඕනේ. So we are producing in the month of October 2,500 units. So for labor it's rupees 50 each. unit එකට යන්නේ රුපියල් 50යි direct labor කියලා දීලා තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් ඒක බොහොම පහසුයි. So it's 3000 for the next units. It's 50, and the next one it's 3500. 500 into 50. Right. එහෙනම් direct labor ටික ගත්තා. The next month depreciation of plant and machinery is given. It is irrelevant because those are non-cash items. Non-cash items අපිට අදාළ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Other operating expenses are 75,000 per month. All these operating expenses are paid within the relevant month. It is expected to purchase a new machine for during December. Right. So the operating expenses තියෙනවා අපේ 75,000 ගානේ. So let us take the operating expenses. Operating expenses. එකත් ඒ අදාළ මාසෙම අපි ගෙවනවලු. ඒ ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. 75,000 and 75,000. ඒ වගේම machine එකක් ගන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවලු. Purchase of machine December මාසේ කීයකටද? 250,000. 2,50,000කට. මේකත් අපි ගන්න ඕනේ. No work in progress කියලා කියනවා. එහෙනම් that's it. So that's it. Yeah. You can now simply add the things and see. So you have left more space. So let me get rid from that. තරක් බලමු. Total cash receipts. Cash receipts අපිට කීයක් තියෙනවද බලමු. Simply the total. And add them together, this much. Then you have the total cash payments. Cash payments තියෙනවා අපිට. This much. Right. So if you are to take the net cash flow, you can simply take the cash, total cash receipts minus, sorry, since it's already a minus figure, plus this 89,250. You can simply drag that for the remaining period, and you know how to take the closing balance of opening cash and the net cash, and that's it. ඔයාලට පුළුවන් ඒක රිෆර් කරන්න ඊළඟ month එකට. මොකද කාලච්ඡේදයේ අවසානයේ balance එක කියන්නේ ඊළඟ මාසේ මුල balance එක. So you can simply drag this. Right. So this is your cash balance. Sorry, cash budget for the final quarter of 2021. For the final quarter of 2021. Yeah. So if you have anything that you are not clear with, so please let me know, then I can look into that. Anything that you are not convinced, yes. Yeah. Anything that you are not clear with, so anything you want me to take you through again, so it's okay, right? Okay, so then thank you. So with that we can finish the discussion on budgeting. So in the next class, in the next week, we'll be taking the discussion on standard costing, and I think thereafter our semester may be over. Do you have any idea about that, when our semester is going to be over? Is it 19th, 20th, maybe 20th, no? So if that is the case, for the next two chapters, we may not having some physical lectures, but instead, so we may able to do some video recordings and we'll be uploading, right? So let's see how it's going to work. So if it is allowed, we are going to meet physically, but if not, even we are going to do a video recording for the remaining 2 tutorials on chapter 10 and chapter 11. But in the next week, we are going to take the physical lecture. No problem. It's on standard costing, right? So that may be the way forward for our tutorial. And so really appreciate your participation. So otherwise, we might not be able to even do the tutorial if we